Welcome to That 80s Show. It's your 1 hour a week where we go back to 10 years of the best music, movies, clothing, and Jason Bateman. How are you, Dori?
I'm good, Paulo. Obviously, you watched that link I sent you.
Right. So Dori and I are back after a week. We took a week for Easter things. Eastering things in South Africa. It is, I think, most places around the world, most Christian countries, it is a long weekend. So we were off last week. It gave us a chance to recharge those 80s batteries. You couldn't recharge batteries in the 80s. You just threw them away. No recharge. There were no recyclable batteries. And we gathered
my goodness. I went through so many batteries for my little yellow Sony Walkman.
But they used to eat batteries. Oh my God. Like, they were so merciless. The yellow Walkman and that game Simon. Remember the game Simon?
No, but batteries were cheaper back then, though, to be fair.
They were. Dori, did you ever need 8 AA batteries for a Nintendo Game Boy that only lasted a week in my hands?
No.
Okay, that's not,
in your hands.
In my hands. That's not cheap. That's not cheap. So, Dori, late change to the running order. Jason Bateman, of course. I haven't watched the movie Air yet.
I thought that might be your movie this week. I thought, I know what you're going to do.
I know.
No?
Air nor Tetris. Air nor
I know, but I don't think Tetris is out yet.
It is.
Is Tetris out?
It is. It's on Apple TV.
Oh, I don't have Apple TV.
Yeah.
But okay. Oh, I'm really keen to watch Tetris.
Wait. You want to watch Tetris and not Air with Jason Bateman?
It's not about J-Bay. I mean, that being said, I do feel less love for him after the link that I sent you, which we will discuss. But only a little bit less love. But no, I just, I'm not into sport, and I know it's not going to be a sport movie. But I'll watch it, but I'm much more excited to watch Tetris. I think Tetris is going to be an amazing movie.
All right, so watch neither of those. But what we did watch was Jason Bateman was on Jimmy Kimmel. 2 weeks back, so just ahead of the release of the movie. Dori said something very interesting, that she has less love for him after watching it. Now, Dori, I've been in a bit of a Jason Bateman, I was going to say the word hole, but I'm going to pull back on saying it because I'm rewatching Arrested Development, the good one, the originals.
I am so keen to rewatch Arrested Development. I want to show it to my kid. From season 1, we just haven't got around to it yet, but it is absolutely on the to-do list.
Right. So I'm rewatching Arrested Development.
Obviously from season 1, because season 1 is one of the greatest.
That's it. From season 1, I'm not even going to get into the re-releases that Netflix did, which just everyone hated. I don't even know.
Oh, no, they were terrible.
Okay. Yeah. And so I'm very much in a J-Bay world. I'm very much in J-Bay's world right now. And
me too, because let me tell you quickly. I mean, apart from the fact that I listen to Smartless a lot, which is his podcast, I listen to it a lot. Did you listen to the Keanu Reeves episode? Because it is fantastic.
I don't listen to Smartless. So
you don't listen to Smartless? Oh my God!
So for people who may not know, in my day job, I promote podcasts. Right? I mean, I make podcasts, I promote podcasts, and I go and I do presentations to creative agencies, media agencies about podcasts. And I often show them charts of podcasts just to say, like, these are the trends, and true crime is huge in America, not as massive here, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of show them. And I always recommend, I say, listen, you're going to see something there kind of breaks the mold, is Smartless. And I tell you, you've got to listen to it. I don't even take my own advice. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. Will on it as
there's a recent episode that they did. They spoke to Keanu Reeves. I mean, we all love Keanu for the person he is, but I've never really thought that he's a really particularly interesting individual or a particularly good actor. But he really won me over in the interview. He is a very interesting person, and he really does have a personality. It might not come across when he acts. But it was great. Now, honestly, you got to listen to Smartless. The other reason J-Bay has been in my world the last few weeks is over the Easter weekend, Paulo, I binged a series on Showmax called The Outsider.
Okay.
which is a Stephen King horror series.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have seen that.
J-Bay is in it. Unfortunately, he's not in it very long.
No.
He is not in it very long.
No.
But he is in it.
I want to say it was, without spoiling, it was parallel universes or twins. Or maybe I've spoiled it. Hey, was it like, was it multiverses or twins? I know
no.
J-Bays.
Yes.
Okay.
But you're wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong on what it was.
It got me in because it was Jason Bateman, and then So yes. Okay. So you and I are in Jason.
I watched the whole thing.
We're in Jason Bateman's world.
So right in that hole.
Okay. Right. No, but God damn it, Dori. Okay, I try to avoid saying that. So he shows up on Jimmy Kimmel, and now Jason Bateman is one of those guys who acts like he is. So he's he's just always Jason Bateman. That's just how he always acts.
He's neurotic.
But on Jimmy Kimmel, he's like really, his real personality comes up. Yeah. He's so funny.
Yes.
I can't understand.
He's so funny.
So he comes out. We spoke a few weeks ago. If you've seen the trailer for Air, he's got long 80s hair, and he's still got it. And they still comment. I don't like long-haired Jason Bateman. You liked that. I like.
I can live with long-haired Jason Bateman. Clearly, his wife likes it too. He mentions that on the show. Yeah, but I kind of like it.
Oh no, I like just messy everywhere, like 80s hair, L'Oreal, kind of like Lepebra's hair gel.
He has longish hair in The Outsider as well. It's the same hair.
He does. It's the same hair. But they come in and they talk about how Jimmy Kimmel loves 80s music. I didn't know that. Now I love Jimmy Kimmel. And the Reverend.
That's exactly right.
I don't know that.
I don't know.
They don't know. We don't know that. And
he's like a huge 80s music fan. Huge.
Here's the thing. Jason Bateman questions him and pushes him on his reverence of the 80s, where Jimmy Kimmel says, you not loving the 80s is like Pac-Man coming out and saying he hates the 80s.
He's like, it's the decade that made you.
Oh my God. So, but so many nice little references. Talk about Teen Wolf. That his wife wants him to.
It was very funny.
They mentioned
cocaine jokes. Very funny.
Valerie and the Hogan family.
I mean, for goodness sake.
So, I mean, I wanted to mention it to you a few weeks ago about Valerie and the Hogan family. Now, as I remember it, is that there was which came first, Valerie or the Hogan family? Because then they had a fallout, or something.
I don't remember.
No, it was this. It was the same. It was the same sitcom. The intro was even the same, and they used quite a well-known song in the intro, right? It's the theme music. But somewhere there was a fallout with the Valerie character, and then they killed her off, or moved her off, or sidelined her, or she disappeared, and then it became broader the Hogan family. And Jason Bateman was in that. He was also in Little House.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. I mean, I remembered its existence, but I don't remember anything else about it. I don't remember that he was in it.
Yeah, he was in that. I always think he was in the show that his sister was in. I don't know why. I was like,
yes, Family Ties.
Family Ties. I'm like, there's no way Michael
also J. always Fox. Think he's on Family Ties.
I know, but then you go, there's no way Michael J. Fox and Jason Bateman would have been in the same sitcom together in the 80s. Your TV tube, the tube in your TV would have blown up. You'd still be able to
load it.
You'd still be able to. Did your tube ever blow in in one of your TVs?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That was a huge. Listen, kids.
So sad.
That was a huge thing in the 80s. The tube, because now you know YouTube, right? There was literally a tube in your TV, right? It was a tube. We saw the guy came to fix it the one day. It was a literal tube, and it was quite a common occurrence in 80s households that your tube blows. Now, if your tube blows in the middle of A-Team or Airwolf, like, oh my God, like, Jesus Christ, what an immersive experience. So many graphics. And then you're like, but where's Stringfellow Hall?
Oh, wait.
What happened? Where's Airwolf? And then, oh my God, the days. Oh, I can't watch TV. My tube, there's no tube load. And then, oh, luckily we've got the small little black and white TV in the kitchen. But what's this? This is black and white TV. This is not even noir. What the fuck's going on? So it was a real problem. But that wasn't Michael J. Fox and Jason Bateman. So, Dori, so much love for. I loved it. I thought Jason Bateman was hilarious. His comic timing is so good.
It's great.
Why do you have
great. Well, because he doesn't love the 80s. That's all.
Do you think he doesn't love the 80s?
It's a little less love. He just seemed a bit jaded about the 80s. And I was like, no, you can't be that guy. You got to love the 80s. But I had more love for Jimmy Kimmel. So maybe I just took a little bit of love away from J-Bay and put it onto Jimmy. Just a touch in that interview.
I think maybe he just didn't remember the 80s. He was partying hard.
Because he was so drugged up and partying, yeah.
Teen heartthrob. He was a teen heartthrob.
But you see, as funny as he is on there, dude, that's how he is on Smartlist. You've got to listen.
I know.
Listen to the Keanu Reeves episode. Do yourself a favor.
I've got to get into it. You know, it's one thing I thought about Jason Bateman is how goddamn rich he must be. Compound interest since the 80s.
Yo. Can you imagine? And he strikes me as the kind of person who, like, once he got clean and sober, looked after his money. Didn't do stupid things.
Because he didn't have, like, a high profile miscreant youth, but he had quite a miscreant youth.
No, he speaks about it on Smartlist. He had problems.
Yeah.
But he's certainly come back from. He's like vegan now. He's like super healthy. You saw how he looked on the show. He's 54. He looks amazing.
Yeah. So but it was one thing actually ties into something I wanted to talk about this week as well. So Rob Lowe, his show with his son on Netflix, Unstable, is out, and we've had our conversation about that. But less so about that. I was wondering, would Rob Lowe, his career, because now 1988, Rob Lowe, Brat Pack, Superstar, Miscreant Youth. Okay, they all dabbled, they all had problems. Rob Lowe had a videotape came out, and he filmed the first sex tape with two women, right? And one
turned out to be underage.
She was underage, just 16 years old. And then
but he claims he didn't know.
So he says he didn't know. Okay. And he was 20 or 21. Listen, it's still.
He was 24 or 25.
Okay, all right. Listen,
and then the other girl was 21, and then the one was 16, but she said that she was 21 or something. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
And here I am sitting watching.
I went down a Rob Lowe rabbit hole as well recently.
There you go.
Because of Unstable, actually. Because of Unstable.
Now,
have you watched it?
I haven't watched it. I can't. His son freaks me out.
It's okay. It's okay. That's what I'm going to say about it. It's okay.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. And I'm very much in Jason Bateman land, right? I'm team Bateman right now.
Let's get back to Bateman.
Maybe I'll get into Rob. I don't know. Maybe I'll put Unstable on in the background. But I was thinking, how the hell did Rob Lowe get away with that without being canceled? And listen, we all talk about cancel culture, and it's a lot of it is ridiculous, right? But Rob Lowe, you're going, my God, guy, you did that. You had sex with a minor. There is very much proof of it. And
there was a payment made to the family to avoid prosecution. Even worse. Absolutely. I mean, today that would just be horrific. Like, look, it wouldn't fly today, but back then, I was like, okay. And, he was so pretty, and everybody loved him, and there was just like, oh. Same.
Okay, so that's the moral of the story. If you're pretty and everyone loves you, you can do whatever you want.
Pretty privilege is a thing. And he was the prettiest in the 80s. He really was.
Listen, I mean,
he's still pretty. Still pretty. He's 59 years old. 59, dude. Look at how he looks.
He's suave and debonair now. He was pretty in the 80s. I don't think you can call.
He's still pretty.
I don't think you can call a man in his 50s pretty.
He's prettier than his son. But
we've
discussed it.
We've been there, right? We still would like to interview Rob Lowe, so we decided we're just gonna pull back on criticizing his loins, the fruit of his loins. Oh,
Yeah, shame. The son, he's an okay actor, the son. Like, he's okay.
okay. Did Rob Lowe after that Sex, Lies and Videotape? It was a movie and he was in it, right? Or was it just, he did? Yes. He made a movie about it. That's how cocky he was.
He literally did that. Exactly.
That's how cocky he was. I mean, my God, it's like you're talking about. I don't know. I just don't know how. And listen, I'm glad because people.
No, dude, do you know how cocky he was?
Share.
There in the 80s. There was the roast of Rob Lowe. Okay. This is I found this in my rabbit hole. There was the roast of Rob Lowe, which I'm dying to find and watch because I'm sure it's amazing. They made a promo for it on Comedy Central, or whatever channel it was. I think it might have been. They did a promo for it, and they actually did like a teenage girl thing in the promo. I'll find it and I'll post it, and it's really funny. And it's like, so he poked fun at it, even. That's how cocky he was.
You see. But I think the lesson, more so than if you're pretty, you can do things, is that people are allowed to make mistakes in their 20s and not be crucified because we're all fucking stupid in our 20s. And I think...
Well, you used to be able to. Now, there's no free passes.
Yeah. Which, unfair, but then we probably wouldn't have Rob Lowe's weird-looking son. Anyway, let's just move on to... 35 years ago, they released Beetlejuice. 1988, Beetlejuice came out. And the always brilliant Cracked, my favorite website. I don't read New York Times. I don't read Washington Post. I read Cracked. Okay. That's where I get my information from.
It's worth reading.
I mean,
it has great information.
Some of the key articles in this week's on today's Cracked website. It's been 30 years since Samuel L. Jackson was in a dumbass Lethal Weapon spoof. Ray Romano was gaslit into accepting the name Everyone Loves Raymond, and the guy playing Marvel's Hercules somehow doesn't know he's a sex symbol. This is the content that resonates with me. Well, this is culture. This is what I want to watch. It's what I want to know. So, there is an article here, 35 trivia tidbits, 35 factoids about Beetlejuice for its 35th anniversary. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to pick out the ones that are really interesting. Right?
Cool. Yes.
So obviously Beetlejuice, spoiler alert if you don't know, Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, they're a couple and they die and they end up in, was it hell? Where was Beetlejuice? In purgatory type of thing.
Purgatory. I don't think we need to give spoiler alerts for Beetlejuice.
Okay.
It's been long enough.
You think it's fair?
I mean, come on.
I don't know. So they end up and they find Beetlejuice and he just pops up and is quite comedic. In the original, Beetlejuice would have had leather wings like a demon dragon, and he would have literally tried to murder the Dietz family and sexually assault Lydia before tearing her apart. This is how Beetlejuice was going to open.
Okay.
Very different movie. One of the famous scenes is when you have Beetlejuice sitting on the couch with the half lady. Remember her?
Yes.
Right.
Oh my God, the best.
He fills up the legs part of it. You know, the torso is sitting on one side, the legs sitting in the other half. And those legs belong to Tim Burton's girlfriend at the time. She was the mystery legs.
Okay.
Yep. She was they had that picturesque town that they were like in. Found that town on a postcard. It's a postcard town. It was a postcard town. Beetlejuice was almost Middle Eastern.
What?
Yep. He was almost Middle Eastern. Okay. He would have been a stocky Middle Eastern man for some inexplicable reason.
Weird.
Winona Ryder, she was so young when she was in Beetlejuice. She got bullied at school and they said she was a witch. They said she was part of the occult Satanic Panic.
I would personally take that as a compliment, but you know.
Yeah, you don't know what Winona Ryder felt at the time, and her.
This is the only movie I like her in. Remember, I don't like Winona, but except in this movie.
Also, I don't know. I like her connection to the 80s, but I'm not the biggest fan of hers. Her character, obviously quite gothic. They got the inspiration for her from going to a Cure concert. And they just looked around at all the young girls at the Cure concert and said, "That's a great look. That's what you're going to look like."
That makes sense. That makes sense.
In the original ending, she died in a fire. Her character died in a fire.
I know.
Because she didn't die, hey? She didn't die.
No, she doesn't. No, nobody does.
She was the character was almost played by Alyssa Milano instead of Winona Ryder.
I mean, who knows? Might have been good. You love Alyssa Milano.
Could we see Alyssa Milano being gothy, though?
Maybe not.
Because Winona Ryder is a little bit gothier adjacent. Alyssa Milano was fresh-faced, girl next door, prom queen, where Winona Ryder was like the really intense, cool girl, but like bookish.
Yeah.
It probably worked. Alec Baldwin was worried that it might tank his career, but it didn't. He
thought it was going to be a total flop.
He told GQ that he was positive that the film would be disastrous. And when we did Beetlejuice, I had no idea what it was about. I thought all our careers are going to end with the release of this film. Maybe we're all going to be dead. Sammy Davis Jr. was almost going to star Sammy Davis Jr. Michael Keaton didn't get the concept of the movie either. He was on Charlie Rose.
Really?
I just didn't get it. I just didn't understand what this movie was about.
But I'm trying to remember, was it a hit at the time, or did it become a cult classic later? Like most of the movies that I speak about on this show. I'm wondering if it was a hit at the time.
Yeah, no.
I can't remember.
No, it was a hit. It was a hit. I remember, I was about 8 or 9 years old. So, at the time they were super strict at cinemas. Like now you can kind of get into movies. They were super strict at cinemas. Actually, then you could get into movies. What I'm talking about. And so movies took a very long time to come out on video here. And so on 9th or 10th birthday party, you'd have like a video party. You'd your friends come watch a movie.
Yes.
And I remember a lot of people having Beetlejuice. A lot. For a long time we watched Beetlejuice. Cool. Yeah. And then, as we know, there was meant to be a sequel set in Hawaii. Tim Burton didn't want to do it. Tim Burton notoriously doesn't do sequels. He's once off. And they developed a second Beetlejuice set in Hawaii, evil Hawaii, bizarro Hawaii. But Michael Keaton said that even though he knew that a sequel would probably never happen, it's the one movie, it's the only film I ever mentioned going back 15, 20 years ago where I said, that one I'd like to try and do again. I really enjoyed it. And no one ever did anything about it. Are we finally going to see a second Beetlejuice? Michael Keaton's back in Batman. He's back in Batman.
It would have to be 100% Tim Burton. Like, it would have to be...
There's no way Tim Burton...
Really, it would have to be...
Winona Ryder's having her moment again. Deo could be up the charts. We don't know. I feel they got to jump on the 80s nostalgia while it's there because, listen, we're going to...
They could set it in the 80s and then it might work, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could do but I suppose everyone's older now. Goodness.
Well, Beetlejuice makeup, like you can make him look like he never aged. You make Michael Keaton look like he never aged.
Yeah, but the rest of them, unless it's going to be different people.
Yeah, I think they got to jump on that 80s bandwagon while mainstream still gets it. We're niche. It's nostalgia. People love the 80s, but mainstream, you got to jump on that while Stranger Things are still doing good things for us. Brings us nicely in to movie time, Dori. Each week, each week we watch a movie, a TV show, a recommendation. We say, hey, watch this, don't watch this, remember this, or here's the reason no one remembers this. Doris, what do you have for us?
I kind of have two movies in one.
Excellent.
Because I watched a movie over the Easter weekend that is a sequel and had 80s things in it, but then the original also had 80s things in it, and I was like, well, I need to talk about both. I'm not even going to tease it. I'm talking about the movies Sing and Sing 2.
Sing and Sing 2.
Have you watched them?
I've watched.
They are animated.
I've watched
animated
the
movies.
First one. I think I would have watched the first one, and when the second one came out, my daughter wasn't into animation movies anymore, so that's probably why I wouldn't have watched it.
How do you not be into animation? I'm still into animation movies. What?
My daughter, so we figured out that, so she doesn't like movies. Like she can't get into movies. She'll watch a series. She loves the Goldbergs. Goldberg set in the 80s. She loves the Goldbergs. She likes sitcoms and she likes binging. But she does not like movies. Okay. So we figured out she likes action movies because she loved Top Gun Maverick. So she likes action movies. Even the Mandalorian, right? So the Mandalorian's got Grogu. Everyone loves Grogu. Cutest character. I mean, that's going to make Disney money for the next 50 years. She's like, this show really is just a lot of walking around in spaceships, flying. They don't ever really do everything. She says they make you watch.
I've never watched it, but I think that's funny.
She's like, they walk for 10 minutes, they fly for 5. There's Grogu does something cute. Then they get back in the plane, the ship, and they fly again. I don't like this. But so she wants action. So she's fast. I think Fast and Furious is going to be right up her alley. That's what I think she likes.
Have you shown her the A-Team yet?
I could do that. But I think
that might go down quite well from the sounds of things.
It's
funny. It's actually
set in the 80s. It's too long for her. It's too long for her.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, she's
okay. What are we talking? Like 25 minutes, eh?
Yeah, I think that's it. So Sing 1 and Sing 2. Okay, that's
so Sing 1 and Sing 2. Yeah. They're really sweet little animated movies. The second one we were a bit nervous. We were like, oh, the sequel, it's going to be shitty. It's not shitty at all. It's actually very good. Especially as sequels go. It's a great sequel, actually. But the soundtrack, it's a bit of a mixed bag, the soundtrack, but in the first movie, there are quite a few, and I mean, they actually are, for me, obviously, the best songs in the movie. They do Under Pressure, David Bowie, Queen. They do I'm Still Standing, which is the actor is Taron Egerton, who played Elton John in the Elton John movie.
Yes.
And the character he plays sings I'm Still Standing, and it's perfect. It's really perfect.
Does he voice the big gorilla?
Yes. Yeah. That's him, the big gorilla.
Yes.
And it's very cool. It's very cool. There's also Bombaleo by the Gypsy Kings, also from the 80s. Venus, which was remade in the 80s by Bananarama. It is actually originally from the 60s.
Yeah.
And it's a really sweet film. There's some 80s stuff in it. It's really cool. And then I thought, okay, well, they're not going to do 80s stuff again for the sequel. Boy, was I wrong. I'm going to not give you spoilers because you haven't watched it. But I don't know if you are going to. The main thing about the sequel is that they have to get this reclusive singer to come and be part of a show. The reclusive singer is voiced by Bono and sings U2 songs.
That is ridiculous.
Sounds ridiculous, right? It totally works. I have to tell you, it totally works. There's more Elton John, actually. They sing Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which I think is actually a 70s Elton John song.
Yeah.
In Sing 2. But then, so they have Where the Streets Have No Name by U2. They have, I can't even remember, there was a couple of other YouTube songs. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I didn't even realize at first that it's actually Bono doing the character because it doesn't sound like him at all.
That's what I want to ask you, right? So does he sing it? So when he sings a song, you go, does he sing it in the style of the original song, or does he put on a character voice? Is it a little bit different? So because you said you didn't identify him as Bono straight away.
I didn't identify him, so it's a little bit like he's putting on a character. Okay. But I mean, the songs are the songs. They really are. And it's cool because, I mean, the one thing is, I'm not a big fan of U2 and I'm especially not a big fan of Bono. I think he's way too arrogant. And that's my only complaint, is that they build this character to be this like amazing, best singer in the world type person. And I was like, oh my God, this is just feeding into the whole arrogance and, pomp about U2 and Bono. But it's still cool. There's some breakdancing in Sing 2. Quite a bit of breakdancing, which is cool. It's cool. Watch it. Yeah,
that's fun stuff.
So it's, just little mentions. The two films got some good nods to the 80s in the two of them.
I do enjoy that. When you said Elton John, quite a few Elton John songs, because I know he was involved in that. Was it Gnomeo and Juliet? Was it that
Oh,
one?
God, Gnomeo and Juliet. I think it still says it's Gnomeo. It's not Gnomeo. It's Gnomeo.
I know. As I said that, I was
The
like,
G is silent.
I know,
The G
Dori.
is silent.
I know. As I said that, I was like, why did I say that? So what's wrong with me? I have an English degree. Why would I say the silent G? What's wrong with me?
Because maybe you thought, well, the original is Gnomeo, but it's Romeo.
No, I don't know why I said that. Like, honestly, God damn it. Anyway, because Elton John produced that. He was involved in Gnomeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
So they had.
That was just full of Elton John songs.
It was
The whole thing was Elton John.
Only Elton John songs.
Yes.
I think even
that was a great film, actually.
I think even voiced a character. I think there was even a little Elton John-ish character.
Oh, it's entirely possible. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've watched that one, but it's good. It's a good one.
All right, so that's some good stuff. And you know what? Like movies like that, it's just good to sing along. You kind of like have it going. You have the movie. The song comes. Like, oh God, I love this movie. That's so fantastic. I don't hate on Bono like everyone else does. It's become, I think, since U2 forced their album onto everyone's iPhones a few years ago, like since that was kind of the intersection. But the two best concerts I've ever been to, the two best concerts other than Aha that I've ever been to in my life. And I mean, when we're talking Rob Williams, I mean, it was U2. Their two concerts were the best concert. I don't hate on U2, so I don't have that. And let Bono be arrogant. I don't give a shit. He wants to save the world. I mean, it's like goes, people of Bono's generation don't do enough. They damage the earth. He tries to do it, and he's quite like proud of himself about doing it. Oh, well, Bono, you can't be proud of saving the world. Like, I don't quite understand the narrative against him and U2. I don't fuck with people's iPhones. I think that's the moral of that particular story. I don't get what people...
Paulo, were you at the office when Bono was there at our previous job where we worked together? Were you there the day that Bono arrived?
Well, let's put that into context. I was at the office. You should have said, were you sequestered to a pig pen where nobody was allowed moving out of? I think is more apt. Am I right?
No, I mean, I just remember, everybody was so excited that Bono was coming.
You worked on the floor where the studios were. Okay, so Dori, Dori was very excited because we both worked at a radio station. The radio station we're at were media partners for a U2 concert. So U2 actually came to the studio, and that's very rare because normally they stay.
I remember it only being Bono. I don't know if the rest of them were there. I think it was just him.
No, it was at least him and the Edge. It was definitely him and the Edge. Oh
my God, I don't even remember that.
And that's rare because normally what they do is they stay in their hotel room and you've now got to come to them. And for a lot of reasons. I mean, security, like I get it. Like I don't think that's bad. But Bono came to the studio for his interview.
And I mean, I think I already wasn't such a big fan then because I remember not being as excited as everyone else. But it was insane because the entire staff lined up outside the studio on both sides so that like when he walked through, it was like a procession that he walked through and he was like waving at people and shaking some people's hands. And I mean, I remember my colleague Lynn, she was the biggest fan. She was like 1 centimeter away from screaming and fainting because she was so excited. So she would not let him get away with just walking past her. She like kind of, stepped in front of him and was like, I love you, the whole thing. And I just remember looking at this going, ugh, and I just went back to my desk because I was just not interested. And it was so ridiculous. It was actually ridiculous.
The only other time I saw a clamor similar, and I'm not saying which one was bigger, they were similar, was the day Nelson Mandela was at the studio. That was the only other time
I think when Nelson Mandela came, it was not even as much excitement.
No, because
not even as much excitement, honestly.
The Bono thing. So you still worked on the floor where the listen, this is great podcasting because we're talking about things that happened to us, but we think it's kind of interesting. You still worked on the floor that the studios were on. Yeah. I worked on a different floor.
Yeah.
People who weren't on the studio floor, we weren't allowed leaving our floor for security reasons. We had to stay on our floor for until he left. When Mandela was there, we could just move around freely. And
Yes.
one of our colleagues also took a photo of, he somehow got a photo with Bono. Not until like the birth of a second or third child did he replace his WhatsApp profile picture with the Bono one with him and his children.
Not even for the first child.
Not even for the first child. It was at least on the second.
Okay. After the show, you'll tell me which colleague this was, because I'm sure you're not going to name him, but I want to know who it is.
I will not name, but we just told stories about how much people love Bono.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So
anyway.
That's Dori's movie recommendations: Sing 1 and Sing 2, and
which are both on Showmax.
Yes,
easy to see if you've got Showmax. Yes.
I've seen them there. The reason I mentioned The Big Gorilla is because my movie this week is also ape related. I never know what's a monkey.
Okay.
Monkeys are smaller.
And the ape is the big thing, and the monkeys are the small things. Yes.
Right? Apes are bigger, right? So in 1981, do you remember the TV show? It was so culturally impactful called Taxi. Did it ever show in South Africa?
I don't know. I've never watched an episode. I know of its existence.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the show that launched Danny DeVito's career?
Well, so here is the people that were in Taxi, right? Christopher Lloyd, right? Listen, spoiler alert, because the best meme I've seen in ages. Christopher Lloyd is in this week's episode of Mandalorian, right? He's been teasing it for weeks. His Twitter's the best. He's shows up in The Mandalorian, and there's a meme going around this week. Christopher Lloyd in The Mandalorian. Christopher Lloyd, so the picture of him from his scene in The Mandalorian. And then him from Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd, a man in a DeLorean. Hilarious. Best meme I've seen.
Very funny.
I think he even posted it. So Christopher Lloyd was in it. Danny DeVito was in it. The dude who played Dear John, that guy. Anyway, he was in it.
Judd Hirsch.
Andy Kaufman was in it. In it. And a very, very young Tony Danza was in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were taxi drivers. And I know it was a huge thing, but I think it was big in America. I mean, TV only came here in 1976 or something, I think.
Yes.
So I don't think it would have shown live here. I think it may have shown in reruns and not been, I don't remember it being massive in South Africa. But anyway, it launched some great careers. And somebody along the line said, listen here, you've got Danny DeVito and Tony Danza, massive stars. Let's put them in a movie together. Now, there was a thing in the 80s, they did it in Brewster's Millions, they did it a couple of times, where somebody, a rich somebody dies, leaves his fortune to somebody, but on condition that they complete a task, right? So Brewster's Millions, he was going to get X amount of money, but he had to spend a certain amount of money in a month. So in my movie, Tony Danza comes from a circus family. And his father, very rich, runs this massive circus. He leaves the circus. He doesn't want to be involved in it. He's out of there. And he kind of goes rogue. And when the father dies, despite having multiple kids, he leaves the entire fortune to Tony Danza on condition that Tony Danza looks after his beloved orangutans.
Wait, plural. How many are there?
There are 3. Okay. He has to look after his father's beloved orangutans. Okay. The father loved these orangutans, but he's got to take care of them for 5 years, and no harm must become them. Then he will inherit $5 million. Okay. So Tony Danza's the son. Danny DeVito is the ape handler, the orangutan handler, who now comes part of the deal to help him. So you go, that is a ridiculously 80s plot. Even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
If he doesn't look after the apes, right? The money will go to a zoological society instead. $5 million, that's a lot of money. The zoological society hires hitmen to come and kill one of the apes. So that they can get the money.
Oh my God.
Okay. This is the plot of the movie. So it stars Tony Danza, Danny DeVito, and again, another Arrested Development, Jessica Walter, who plays the mom. in Arrested.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's in it as
How
well.
have I never heard of this movie?
Dori, I love this movie. As a kid, I freaking loved this movie because I didn't know, like Danny DeVito was hilarious in the 80s because he was so small and weird. Like we just found that hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Tony Danza was like, oh, that's the Who's the Boss guy. But the orangutans are phenomenal actors and actresses. I don't know if we can, the kid in me in the 80s and I wouldn't have watched it. Came out in 1981. I wouldn't watch it when it first came out. I probably watched it years later. I goddamn loved this movie because of the orangutans. They were so funny. I could not get enough of them.
Would it still be funny now?
I doubt it by like 1 billion times. Like, I mean, unless you have... No, I think... Listen, Tony Danza's super young and Danny DeVito's got ridiculous hair in it. So I think there is a novelty in it. There is always something fun. And I mean, I think it's so funny when they train orangutans to kiss people. I think that's comedy gold. But just...
Is it the same at least one of them, the same orangutan from that Clint Eastwood movie?
Any Which Way But Lose. No, I could not find that out. I could not find out if any of them are the same.
Because how many trained orangutans were there at the time?
A lot, Dori, because I think there was a huge market for trained orangutans and chimpanzees in the 80s. Because, I mean, you have 3 years apart, 2 orangutan-themed movies. I mean, I probably watched them together.
I'm just looking. Every Which Way But Loose was released in 1978.
Yeah.
So it could definitely have been maybe the same one.
Listen, I could not find that the orangutans... I mean, listen, there's no IMDb for apes. So maybe there's a gap.
Was they literally not even on the credits? The monkeys didn't even get credits. That's so
I'm
rude.
going to look into that. I'm going to post the follow-up on that 80 Show SA Facebook page. We're going to do some goddamn research for a change. I'm going to... Listen.
I want to know which ape we're talking about.
Okay, ape MBD, ape MDB. We're going to find out if the apes are the same. But a young 80s child called Paulo with his Chips helmet was loving that movie because, firstly, the apes occasionally wore nappies, which is hilarious. It's gross, but it's hilarious. And when an orangutan kisses a person. And also, as a person who suffered hair loss very early in his life, orangutan comb-overs, they're a weird thing to see because they actually have you ever seen orangutans? They actually, because they lose their hair very early, they have pattern baldness. And then they comb their hair over. It's a hilarious thing. So all around, Paulo loves apes and ape movies, and that is a movie called Going Ape. So Sing 1 and Sing 2, there is a gorilla character, and there are apes, orangutans, as you're obliged to say them. So
some good crossover, some good Venn diagram stuff happening there.
Yes.
Is Going Ape got an exclamation mark at the end?
Yes.
Is it just going?
Yeah,
because I can't imagine it just being Going Ape.
No, Going Ape.
Let's be Going Ape.
Going Ape. That's it. That's the movie.
Okay. Cool.
I don't watch critical...
I honestly don't know this movie. I definitely haven't seen it.
No, I don't watch Air. I don't watch Tetris. I don't watch Cocaine Bear. But I will watch Going
Oh, have you still not watched Cocaine Bear?
No.
You had a whole Easter weekend to do it.
But if you see how tight Tony Danza's white shirt is in this movie, you won't blame me. Tight.
Wait.
Dori, I skipped over. So that's some movie recommendations. That 80 Show SA Facebook page will post up some trailers and a little bit of content from there. Dori, I missed a story from you that I also saw. We skipped over it in the beginning. Let's jump back to that. I have a take on this, but let's hear what the story is first.
Do you? So there's a thing about people get married very young in America. Like, not so much other places in the world.
Celebrity.
But in America, people in general.
Really?
People in general get married very young in America. I think a large contingent of it is people who are very religious and are saving themselves for marriage. So they're like, okay, I'm 18, had enough of saving myself, let's do it. There's a lot of that because America's very Christian, very religious.
Bible Belt stuff. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and the whole purity. What was the purity ring thing where they would wear these rings to say, yes, I'm saving myself? Yeah. Anyway, so a lot of normal people get married very young in America. But I was very surprised to see that a rather young celebrity announced her engagement this past week. Millie Bobby Brown, who is, you mentioned Stranger Things earlier, she is L11 from Stranger Things, is engaged to John Bon Jovi's son, who is, can I just say, beautiful. He is a beautiful man. Oh my God.
He is. I think so it's, they've been dating for ages.
They've been together 2.5 years. I suppose that is ages in celebrity world.
In young celebrity world, that is ages.
He's only 20.
Yeah.
She is 19 and he is 20 and they are engaged.
Dori!
And I'm optimistic. I'm hoping it works.
Oh, really? You're optimistic? No, I think they're going to give love a bad name. And I think that one of them will probably run away within 18 months of this union. And then hopefully we don't find any of them dead or alive. No, we find them alive and hopefully not dead. But this will.
I'm living on a prayer, dude. I'm living on a prayer that this is going to work.
Oh no, this is going to end.
It could be a bed of roses. It could be.
Oh God damn it, Dori! This is going to end in tears. This union. Come on, it's not just that they're celebrities. At 19, 20, you do not get married. I mean, I know that they won't have like the financial pressures. They probably do live together, so those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, and also, I mean, she's ridiculously more successful than he is. I mean, his father's Bon Jovi. He's not Bon Jovi. You know what I mean?
He is living in his father's shadows.
He's just always the son of legendary singer Bon Jovi.
Absolutely. I mean, I had no idea he existed before this.
Really?
Honestly.
Dori, I've
no idea.
I mentioned it before. I follow this.
Maybe?
Yeah. Google alerts, Dori.
In a conversation where you were like, hey, this celebrity's son is actually really good looking compared to somebody else who we spoke about earlier on the show. But we won't reference that. But
I know we spoke about it like probably 30 minutes ago. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No idea. I mean, so I was like, they reference lyrics from Taylor Swift in their I don't know, announcement. I was like, bleh, vomit. But you know what? Shame, sweet, okay. But yeah, maybe it'll surprise us, dude. Maybe they will last and they'll have kids and they'll be happy.
Listen, today
for long. I don't know.
We've spoken about Rob Lowe, and him and his wife have been together for absolute ever, as well as Jason Bateman and his wife. They've been together forever.
Yes.
So
exactly. But they did get together a little when they're a little bit older.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I don't know. But look, good luck to them. What do I know? It's just weird. George Michael's mansion, Dori. George Michael's
mansion.
George Michael's Sydney mansion, his 5-bedroom Sydney hideaway with stunning ocean views, sells for a record price just 37 days after it went on the market. It was sold in 2020 for $5.8 million.
Did you buy it?
I did.
You were the secret bidder.
I am the secret bidder. George Michael what I love about this is George Michael has not owned this mansion for years, but it's still
still called his mansion.
It's his mansion. Allegedly, I didn't even know this. He fell in love with Australia when he went to a rehab clinic in Sydney, in Byron Bay, in 2013. So, and then he just fell in love with Australia and bought this house back then. I look at pictures. It's disappointing. Don't even bother. I'm not going to post this link because there is not one bit of George Michael paraphernalia in this house. Well, what's the point?
I mean, it's very pretty though.
Beautiful, but not even a piano.
It's a beautiful house.
Not even a piano. Not even the stripper pole from the Careless Whisper video that he hung on to. That's not even there. Not a saxophone. So there's no evidence that George Michael.
That is a house no curtains. Well, there are curtains, but so much window.
Yeah.
So many windows.
Yeah.
Beautiful view of the sea. If money was no object.
Well, how much they sell it for? 6 million Australian dollars, which is close on 100 million rand, I think.
I don't know what the exchange rate is.
They try to sell it for $15 million. I assume this is all listed in Australian dollars.
Wow.
So, but you say about the no curtains, lots of windows. The reason a house like this, you want to be seen. I'm walking around nude, bathrobe minimum. I want people to see me in George Michael's $6 million house. That's where I want to be. But okay. They missed a trick in this article, which I rectified in our running order. They should have called it "I'm Your Mansion," and they didn't. And that's just poor form.
That is copywriting gold. Well done. You win.
Thank you.
Well done.
That is. Dori, yet another week in the 1980s has flown by. So many things we spoke about today. We were sidetracked completely by Jay Bay asking how did Rob Lowe way with being a naughty boy, but cancel culture didn't exist in the 80s, or we would have missed so many great characters from Rob Lowe over the years. Beetlejuice factoids, monkey-based movies. But listen, we had so much content in today's show. We had to leave stuff out because of Jason Bateman. That's what happens.
Yeah,
Jason Bateman shows up. You just get sidetracked. And listen, I'm very pleased with that. I got to be honest. I'm very pleased with the Millie Bobby Brown and Bon Jovi, which makes you think. Imagine Bobby Brown and Bon Jovi getting married. That's an 80s headline. That would have been an 80s story. But it allowed us to do such great Bon Jovi related puns, which I did not expect. We didn't prep that. It just happened. And I'm really pleased with that. But Dori, anything from today that stands out that you go, that was my favorite moments of today?
Favorite moments? So many. But I'll tell you something I learned today that I didn't know, that you didn't even mention. It was one of the Beetlejuice facts that you didn't mention, is that Angelica Houston was originally cast to play the one that not the main role.
Yeah.
The sister?
Yes, she would have been.
Whatever. Yes, the sister, the aunt or whatever. She was gonna be the aunt. Which, I think Angelica Houston is Adam's family, and Catherine O'Hara is Beetlejuice.
It makes you wonder, would she then have been cast in the Addams Family? Because she would have been typecast in these kind of gothic.
Exactly. And then we would not have had Morticia Addams, which is one of the most beautiful things she's ever done.
Exactly.
So I'm glad it worked out that way. She became ill and couldn't do the role or something.
Iconic role. Question. In this Netflix remake Wednesday, Angelica Houston was in it, right? She did play.
No,
it wasn't. I did see.
Morticia was in it, but it was played by Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes, that's right. Ageless.
Yes,
ageless Catherine Zeta-Jones.
She did a great job as well.
Yeah,
great job.
I watched 10 minutes. I don't know. This has been that 80 show.
Really?
I did. I don't know. I'm not. I shouldn't. Wow. I shouldn't be the demographic for Wednesday. I shouldn't. I just shouldn't be. It should not appeal to me, which is quite.
It's enjoyable.
It's quite
enjoyable. Your kid would enjoy it. You should watch with your kid.
Not enough action. I told you. I've already explained this.
There's a fair amount of action.
Tom Cruise Maverick. That's what she wants. Airplanes. She wants fighter pilots.
I still haven't watched that. I have to say.
So much content. Everything we spoke about on the show today. That 80 Show SA on Facebook. Give it a like. Thanks for joining me, Dori. Goodbye.
Bye.